Hi everybody. Today I'm going to expose our idea for the school of tomorrow. Our proposal is principally divided into two parts. The first part is the early development, which goes from 2 to 11 years old, and the second part is the teenage development, which goes from 12 to 18 years old.
Now we're going to talk about the early development of the thinkers of tomorrow's school. When beginning the journey, we are focused on bringing the best learning experience in students from 2 to 12 years. We are divided in two main programs: early thinkers from 2 to 6 years and developing explorers from 7 to 12 years. We think that every student is good at something, and this is an opportunity to discover their skills. Now, how are we structured? Let's talk a little bit about us. So anybody willing to learn can join both our Early Thinkers and Developing Explorers program. We have a multidisciplinary staff working on the administrative, operational, student wellness, educative, financing, and marketing sectors. We are a public institution fully funded by the Colombian government under the supervision of the Ministry of Education. When talking about our main ideas, we think that everyone learns with different methods, and everyone is good at something. We also think that knowledge should be self-discovered and that teamwork is key. We think that we learn through practice and that parents are a key role in education. This can be seen in our community, where we want everyone to be in the same position. We don't want students to see their mentors as someone in a higher position, but we want them to see them as a help and someone who they can ask for something if they need it. We also want to have shared spaces between parents and mentors. In these spaces, we want the mentors to give the parents some tips about how to improve the learning skills of their children at home. So the main idea that we want to give is that parents should support their children in everything they want to do instead of imposing their own thoughts. We also want to have social activities in the institution where we want to improve the social skills that the children will develop. And our vision is that we seek to be a role model for personalized and inclusive education in early development stages.
Architecture and design of learning spaces. Based on Montessori's ideas, school facilities should be suitable for the correct development of students during their educational stage. It means that each object inside the classroom should have an educational purpose, and it should be easy to use, so each student could learn its performance or operation on its own. Moreover, spaces should be wide and large, and they must be colorful in order to promote creativity. Its sales organization should not be monotonous, as we are used to see within the actual model in Colombia. Additionally, it is essential that room windows are wide as well, because artificial light hardly creates a pleasant environment for learning. In a similar way, classrooms should have a good ventilation. This can be achieved by making holes in the upper part of walls. Also, it will allow the entry of natural light to the room. Every part of the environment should be suitable for children's height, because our idea is that they are capable of learning by their own, with the teacher being no more than a guide to them. Furthermore, the school must have recreational places where they can play sports and practice gymnastics, as well as the suitable equipment for this. Some more rooms could be a musical classroom with instruments that depend on the age range of kids, and at least two libraries divided within the age range to 2 to 6 and 7 to 11. And last but not least, green areas should have gardens so kids could take care of them. This way, students will promote a sense of responsibility, teamwork, and connection with nature. Finally, the school of the future should be driven by renewable energy, which depends on school location. At closed places, solar energy will not be viable, but other type of energy will be, as wind or thermoelectric energy. This way, we can ensure a kind of environment future where they can both study and help the planet.
For our teaching policy and curriculum for the Early Thinkers program, we are based on Maria Montessori's educational approach. We are aware of the student's sensitive periods, which are times where the student has a high state of readiness for particular learning activities. We want to exploit that by using self-correcting didactic materials. The mentors should guide the students in audiovisual tasks, and they should not push students into doing something. We do not perform quantitative evaluation in this stage. Instead, each mentor makes an individual report to monitor the students' areas of interest. The materials for the Early Thinkers program are also based on the Maria Montessori's approach. We seek to broaden three main areas: practical life skills, motor and sensory training, and more formal literary and computational skills and subject. We also want to include team working materials that require two or more students in order to be solved. Now, for our teaching policies and curriculum for the Developing Explorers program, we are based on both Maria Montessori's and Confucius educational approaches. This is a project-based method of learning because we think that learning is based mainly on practice and experience. Both individual and social experiences are a key to one's development. Mentors should propose several practical projects to the student, and the student decides which activities they want to perform. A qualitative approach to the student's project should evaluate their main areas of development and the student's ability to apply their knowledge. One side from Confucius' book is that only when a teacher is well acquainted with the student's personalities, habits, lifestyles, aspirations, strengths, and weaknesses can the teacher enlighten the students extensively according to their needs. As mentioned before, the materials for this program are mainly projects that seek to broaden the multiple intelligences proposed by Gardner, which are musical, rhythmic and harmonic, visual spatial, verbal linguistic, logical mathematical, bodily kinesthetic, interpersonal intrapersonal, and naturalistic. We also encourage teamwork in these projects for the students.
Now, in respect to teenage development, we have first the main governance policies. So we think that as human rights proposed, we'll have the right to study. So for that reason, our school is free and we do not have an admission exam. We think that we can give the possibility to each person to study. We're gonna do it. Also, we think that parents support students, but they do not take their decisions. When students get older, they're gonna have to choose between many subjects of they like. So we want them that decision is made on their own, not by their parents. Now, we also think that students must have completed developing explorers program, because maybe if they come from other schools, the change can be kind of tough. So we prefer that our students are the same that begin when they were kids. Also, we do not impose religion. We think that those are beliefs on the spiritual part that concerns each person on their own, and we do not have like the right to change it or to impose a certain kind of religion. And what about architecture? Now, this is how we would like our school to look like. If you can, as you can see, it is huge. It has many windows. It has a green area that is also huge, and that's what we want. Now, we're going to present some spaces that can encourage some of the abilities our students have. So there are laboratories, music room, library. Also, we have art and painting room and dancing room. We propose a science room as the one we have at the university, because we think that it is an important space in order to let them relax or think or meditate or just forget about everything around them. We also have the geography room, the theater, and multiple courts so they can exercise, meet other people, and interact.
Right now, I'm going to talk about learning spaces for the teenage development. I'm just talking about the indoor spaces because the outdoor spaces were already exposed with the architecture. So for the indoor spaces, we believe it's essential that every room has natural light and natural airways. In addition, we also believe that the rooms should have a limited capacity between a range from 2 to 10 children. Also, we divided the rooms into two parts, the theory rooms and the practice rooms. And the more important feature of the theory rooms is the U-shaped room, which is the shape you can see in the presentation. We believe this shape let the teacher supervise all the students at the same time and let the students um, mm, get focus and concentration. For the practice room, I want to emphasize that um, these rooms will have individual and group areas. So this is because we want to develop both individual dimension and group dimension. I want to emphasize we consider physical development is very important. So this development will be present at every educational stage, and it will be reached by using the sports and dynamic activities. The second stage is the deepening stage, which is based on an autonomous decision and exploring process. So at this stage, the student will be able to choose what branches the student would like to explore. And the benefit for the student is that the student can choose one or two or three branches. The third stage is the investigation stage, which takes place at the last year and is a accreditation requirement. So for this stage, the student will have to develop an investigation process in one of the deepening branches we propose, and this investigation project will have an undertaking component because we believe this um, improve the critical thinking of the student and give this the importance of social impact. For learning and teaching concepts, we rescue some results and confuses ideas. So we believe learning is based on the practice and experience, and this is why we propose 4 hours per week in which the student will apply the theory he learned. About the teaching process, we believe there shouldn't be any imposition in the process. And also, we saw teaching as a guide that arises from the child and for itself. We believe that teaching should be a mutual agreement between the teacher and the student. And finally, that teaching should teach independence, self-knowledge, and self-management.
Now, what about evaluation and assessment? Now, we do not believe in grades because this can make people competitive or make them feel less than others or more, and that's not the idea. Also, we do not want to make exams in 1 or 2 hours because the results of these exams can be affected by many factors that we cannot take in count, like to measure. So I propose is to give them like a light homework that they can realize at home without any pressure in 1 or 2 weeks. And the idea of this homework is that we can know how much are they understanding or not. The idea is to, based on this result, propose new activities or ways of teaching in order to encourage them and empower them. So the idea here is that they can understand and to help them achieve this goal.